It's I mean, because if you're always fixed on it, you don't get dizzy from it going around. It's like anything else. You'll watch these guys come off the stand here in a minute. They'll be soaked in sweat. Their hands will be shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, you build the same adrenaline you do inside of a real race car, except for don't hit it when you crash.
Exactly.
But the acceleration rate on this is, this has got to be comparable to what they call a top fuel dragster. I mean, this is nuts. It's like they go from a dead stop to like, where'd it go? And you blinked once. It's amazing.
So how long would it take, say, Corey, to be fluent just from never driving one of these? How long do you think it'd take him to become acclimated enough to handle it around this track?
Years.
Can you do video games?
I'm not a gamer.
Oh, then you're going to suck at these.
I use Corey for an example. I know I'd suck.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've always been an athlete. I've always had pretty good hand-eye, but to watch this and to watch these guys, I mean, they're not turning that, what you want to call a steering wheel, the knob. Yeah. They're not turning it a whole bunch.
No, you don't use the whole way. I mean, it gets the full steering if you use it all, but you don't need it. Like when you wait till Heat Race 4, this Heat 1 coming up right now, Heat 4 is our modified class. It'll be like you're watching a bunch of zombies up there. Nobody's facial expressions will change. You can't look away. The cars are physically so fast. If you look away, the car might be 40 feet down the track and in the fence.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, taking a look at this, the track layout, I mean, we got 84 feet long by how feet wide?
48.
But if you do one lap, how many feet is the car actually traveling? 1,200?
Yeah, probably at least 800.
I mean, it's because you've got enough twists and turns and bends and jumps. I mean, it'd be interesting to know exactly how many feet on this configuration one lap is. I mean, it's what are you saying, 24 seconds per lap?
It'd be about 400, I'd say.
This layout here is a little quicker. It's down, I think it's doing right about 15.6s, 15.7s in our stock class right now, or in our pro stock.
And we've got some jumps out here that are incredible. I mean, we've seen some of these guys come by us that are, 3-4 feet on the ground, and they land so smooth, and they immediately hit the ground and turn. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, they're essentially mini trophy trucks is what they are. I mean, if you really start looking into the suspension works on them and stuff like that, the geometry designs of it and everything are essentially the exact same deal. Wishbone-style suspensions,
Well, you literally have coilover shocks on these things.
Yeah, and you use them. It's not
threaded
just
body, so you're putting some turns in, taking some turns out.
Yeah, exactly. We don't really do wedge for off-road because the car's got to leave the jump, equal.
Right.
So we actually, you try to
keep
get
them
your
balanced.
Yeah, you try to get your side-to-sides and all that correct, But we do definitely do front and rear percentages, and we tune with that quite extensively.
That's nuts.
Road course setup.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I got like my car right now. I got. I'm 150 grams overweight. My car, you can be $14.99. Mine's like $16.42 or something. So my car is a sled, but the car is just so physically fast that the extra weight actually helps dig the tires into the ground.
See, that was why I say I always had an advantage racing karts when I was a little heavier than everybody else.
Yeah, good on the outdoors.
Yeah, the tracks are nice. Like, I'll take that extra weight. It's like having a wing on top of the car.
I know exactly what you're talking about there.
That weight didn't work out for you in Vegas.
So, anybody that...
All my buddies actually went to Pat's Acres on Tuesday to go ride. I went to the sand dunes instead because I wasn't about to go get beat by a whole bunch of guys that never drove nothing before. They were half my weight.
No kidding.
Pat's Acres, man. I've been there in years.
We went down to Vegas for the Duel in the Desert and decided to do some indoor go-kart racing, and the only way Warren could beat me was to actually crash me, so he did it. He crashed me all right.
That wasn't the only way I could beat you.
Yeah,
you know it. No, I let you pass me so I could take you out.
Oh, it's getting deep in here.
You can't let him lie to you. Warren was fast back in the day in go-karts.
He was.
At least that's what he tells us.
Well,
you were just about half my height back in those days. Now he's twice my height.
He got a top 10 of the Nationals, so he was an accomplished kart racer, and we're trying to get him back in. See if we can get him back on the track with his back issues he's having. Been a little bit of a, so we've got a race on the track right now. I couldn't tell you where the leader is or what the hell is going on because
there's cars everywhere.
They're so fast.
This is our stock buggy class right here. A guy named Dave Wiggins right here out of Jefferson's out front. Steve Looney's battling with Tom Conway right now for the 2-spot. Conway just went for a tumble.
That's Conway, the yellow and orangey.
Yeah, the one coming over the waterfall right now. They just flipped.
The waterfall, okay.
Yeah, it's Conway down the back straightaway and into the sweeper.
Yeah.
But your race leader is right in front of us right now in the all-orange.
Okay, that's the leader.
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
Oh,
Warren.
There's Conway. Oh, he was coming right at us.
Well, yeah, Tom's getting faster. Tom's son Lincoln, he ain't no joke either. That kid's actually starting to get it dialed in here.
Oh.
3-car pileup.
Who's your announcer up there right now?
That is Mark Anton. He's just a racer filling in for me because I just walked off and hollered at somebody to do it for me.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of
working out for you?
Yeah, it actually works out pretty good. It's cool over on this side. We got the door open.
It is nice over here. We're in the far corner, but Man, quite the setup, Casey. This is a neat deal, and it's kind of fun to do something like this with Northwest Dirt News. You got to do something different, and, talk about race cars and see these guys doing what they're doing.
Casey, I think I messed up your physical address, so why don't you tell the listeners what it is if they want to come by and have some pizza and maybe check this place out.
Yeah, we're 2220 Three Lakes Road here in Albany.
I think I said that right.
It's about
3 minutes off I-5.
Yeah, we're about a half mile behind Home Depot on Three Lakes Road.
Right.
Yeah, if you ever been to Monty's Racing Repair, the guy that builds most of the motors around here, it's actually the same complex as him.
And you're running a special tonight here?
Yeah, 10% off all parts and $20 off of any actual car purchase today.
See, all they got to do is come in and say, hey, I heard you on Moxie. Let's get it hooked up.
Yeah, we'll be here till, I'm not sure what time you guys are heading off, 9 or so you were thinking?
We go off the air at 9.
So we'll be here till 10:30 night racing, so we'll honor it out the end.
Does that last that long?
Yeah, 7 to 10:30. We'll run, I think we got like 46 entries or something today.
As I say, there's a lot of guys over there but
yeah, we don't have to do any track prep, though. We don't have to water or nothing like that, so we're going to run it through quick.
Yeah. So let's talk about
that.
Clare Cup, you made your return to Willamette Speedway in the late models and went out and ran second in the X Factor. You had a good run. You started up near the front, which is where you wanted to be in a field that tough. But you looked like you hadn't spent 5 years outside of the car. I mean, smooth, consistent.
It's like riding a bike, huh, Casey?
It is. I mean, I had it beat into my brain my whole entire life. From the time I was 7 years old. It was no joke. I did 20 years behind a steering wheel of nothing else mattered in my life but that steering wheel. So it taking 5 years off, it wasn't the end of the world. If it was a wide open cushion 6-8 inches off the fence, might have been a little rough, a little more rusty out there, but rolling around the bottom of the track wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Luckily, my dad and I worked all week on the car. By all week, I mean about 4 hours. We didn't put a whole lot of effort in. But, we worked on it enough that we were able to figure out some issues we had from the week before at Cottage Grove and get the front end down on the track again and get some drive out of it. Worked close with one of our real close buddies back east, Josh McGuire, and he got us on some different right front stuff, and they got the car turning again. So it was kind of nice to come out and run. It was an absolute blast to be back out at Willamette again. I mean, it was always my favorite place to run. It's so close to home, and it was really, really awesome.
It's always so nice to see you and your dad out there working together. That's
well, you don't see one of the racetrack without the other. I mean,
right,
that's how it's been since Casey was knee high to a short duck.
And Corey and I both have a lot of respect for that. We wish our dad could be out here with us.
Right.
And that's so cool that you guys are so tight. And there's a car in our table.
lucky thing is it's light. It's not going to hurt too bad.
Yeah, the car or us.
It was actually Tom Conway, wasn't it?
That was Conway. He's trying to take you out.
I think he's doing that on purpose. Where's he at?
Getting back in the car at Willamette, it was really dry slick, which I think was a good thing for you to come back and get behind the wheel. It was all about finesse and being smooth, and we know that you're very good at that kind of game. I mean, being smooth and finesse is I think you'd much prefer a slick, smooth track like we have over a hammer down track.
Yeah, I'm all about not beating my equipment down. We got one car, one motor, one tranny. We don't have the organization that we did. The operation we did at one time where we had backup stuff. And if I go out there and wad the thing up this weekend, I ain't coming out next weekend. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, I'm with the schedule I'm having to work and stuff here. I mean, for me to be out there even Saturday is tough to do.
Sure.
I do have a blessing though. I got a blessing at home. My fiance Taylor, she comes over and she actually washed the car for me on Sunday, helped get the trailer unloaded. I just physically don't have the time to do everything that needs to be done.
She wants to see you race. It sounds like me anyway.
She's got her name on the side of it. She wants her name to look good. She's doing those Lulu legging pants things.
Is that how you do that? Yeah. Put your girl's name on the car, get her to clean it.
I see. You're doing good when the sponsor's washing your car.
Right. That's cool. Right, that's way cool.
Coming back to Clare Cup, I know that, let's talk about what Clare meant to you, because you grew up out at Willamette, and Clare was always the guy that was there, and I know racing in his honor, it's a thing. It's something that everybody is proud to be a part of. I know certainly it was for you, and let's kind of talk about coming back to the Clare Cup, to Willamette Speedway.
Yeah, when I won it, I think it was 2 years ago with Tony's car out there. Honestly, I was so out of the game at that point. Like, I was a full-blown junkie for this racing stuff, man. I couldn't be around it. I couldn't go to the track. I didn't step foot on the facility. I didn't come to Lebanon on Saturdays. I just could not be around it.
Yep.
So I actually called Tony just to see how it was going, break all, and he's like, hey, come out and run this thing this weekend. I got my daughter's wedding to come to. I'm like, all right, we'll come out and see how it goes. And I ran the car, and I won it. After it was over, I learned it was a Clare Cup. I didn't even know what it was at the time, so we'd been literally gone for 3 years. So that one really didn't get to have as much of an emotional connection to me as what
Right.
this one would have.
Yeah.
We definitely wanted this one bad. I remember my whole life growing up watching Claire out there sliding the water truck sideways, and
Yes.
you know, it was just the coolest thing to go on the front stretch when you were a little kid out there, and
Absolutely.
you know, stand there and Claire would come by and soak everybody with what we know now as pond water.
Yeah, he did that for generations. You
He
know,
did.
there's my generation, there's yours,
Yep.
his. I mean, there's
Yeah.
3 of us right here. I mean,
Yeah.
You need to bring that back.
yeah. That was something every kid always looked forward to going
And
to the track for
we
that
always
reason.
walked away going, "Oh, that water stinks."
Boy, it stinks bad now, don't it?
you're in the X Factor chassis. Now, late in the stages of that particular race, you actually 3 X Factors were sitting in the top 6 in the late stages. I forgot where Steve did. Steve Moore finish 6th.
I think you finished 6th there.
6. So there was 3 X Factors in the top 6 of the checkered flag. I mean, you know, like I was telling the crowd on the mic, that's a local built chassis, Mike Miller, you know, down in Springfield, 45 miles south of us. Those cars are really, really working, and I've watched you drive a couple different styles of cars, and I think the X Factor, your driving style, is just a great combination.
You know, the best thing about the Mike Miller cars, the X Factors, was the fact that he's willing to work with you. I'm 6'5" and 240 pounds, man. I'm no little boy here. And he actually built that car and extended the footbox out and raised the halo for me. I hop in that thing. I can barely see over the sides of the deck on it. I mean, it's just amazing to actually have something that fits me.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, I think we want to get a new one, but I don't know what's going to happen there. You know, this car, it's not old. I mean, it's old, but it ain't old. It's only got 34 races or something
not
on
a lot
it.
of
But,
races on that car.
you know, it sat in the shop on jack stands for 5 years, you know.
Well, and talking with Mike with the X Factor, we had a really in-depth conversation after the Claire Cup right at the flag stand, and he sounds like he's the next couple cars he builds sound like they're going to be on the what I'll call the national level. I mean, I think they're going to be just as good as anything you can buy from Longhorn or Rocket or Black Diamond with what he's got in mind and what he wants to do. If he does that, I don't think you're going to have anything out there that would be any better.
Yeah, you know, I don't think there's anything out there any better anyways. I mean,
Look at what those cars do on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I think our car, it's got 34 nights on it, and I think there's 16 checks sitting there in the shop. I counted the other day, so it's won just about half the races it's went to.
Nice.
It's a pretty good win percentage.
So,
Yeah, that's a good percentage.
You know, that thing ain't no joke. I think we went 4 in a row at Cottage Grove with it.
I remember that.
Last year, and we won quite a bit of stuff with the car. So, I mean, it definitely was a better car than what we had this weekend. I didn't have enough aggression in me to go out and get the win, but the car most definitely wanted it. I mean,
well, the car, that's what I'm saying, watching the car and being back for your own stuff 5 years later, it did not look bad at all. It was smooth. It had some bite. Now, I mean, Koffel, I think, hands down, had more forward bite than anybody on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's going to go right through the gravel.
Yeah,
he
I
did.
tried it. I was going to go beat the fence down.
His game was dialed, but you weren't far off of that. I mean, you were right there with him and just smooth and consistent. And I think that's what it takes to win against a field with the names that were in that. That was a tough field of cars.
Yeah, it was crazy. 2 weeks ago, we got the car back together. I'm like, well, we'll go down to Cottage Grove and go race against some of the guys down there, and maybe come home with a win out of this deal. And God, we went down there and unloaded, and there's Jimmy Whistler and Trevor Glasser and John Kaufman back. And it's like, man, Darren's down there. It's like we're racing back in 2008 again here.
Yeah. And there was a lot of fast cars in that feature. While we have you here on the mic, and I'm going to ask you to do something I asked a lot of people Saturday night in the grandstands to, like I said, you grew up the track. I want you to kind of give us a memory of Claire. Kind of share a story about Claire that maybe, when you think about him, comes to your mind.
Yeah, with Claire, it was, we were actually at Sherry's one time a bunch of years ago. It's going to be a pretty foggy memory. I was probably about 10 years old. But we come in there, and he's sitting there talking with Evelyn, I think, about it, and he's like, I am so tired of the same car winning every race. At the generation is when Jeffries is out there in those 7/8 cars just, owning everybody. And he's like, we're going to have to do something different out here. Well, the track was kind of polished off, from what I remember on it. We went out there the next week and watched, and there was like a World of Outlaw 2-foot-tall cushion around the top of that thing, and I think Bob Boyd come out in there and just absolutely annihilated him with a big motor, full-size car. So it was just really cool to know that Claire would always be there. Sorry, guys. But, yeah, it was just really cool to know that he can really have anything he wants happen to that racetrack. If it was blown off dry slick, he can make that thing wide open, hammer down, and vice versa, and just the fact that he was always really there for the fans. I mean, He always wanted a show that would pack the stands. Number one thing It's not the drivers, it's not the crew, it's the people sitting in the stands that keep coming back every week. So if it isn't for those people, we don't have a place to go to. So I mean, we got to make sure that, you know, I know it was a little wild. I'm not one to talk about anything bad here, but last weekend was a little bit wild. And I'm really hoping that